Mayor Ruthanne Fuller delivered the city's capital improvement plan for fiscal years 2025 through 2029. The majority of improvements are for infrastructure projects for students, elders, parks and rec users, drivers, cyclists, and pedestrians. Chief Operating Officer Jonathan Yeo presented the CIP to the City Council on Monday night.
This year, the CIP includes 333 new and continuing projects that use a variety of funding sources. Last year was 222, so we seem to be on a trend. We added 111 projects, which I'll get to in just a minute. Total investment of about $1.2 billion, of which about $193 million is during the 5-year period, 25 through 29. And $145 million is to be docketed during the remainder of this fiscal year. That includes, as the mayor mentioned, the 2 debt exclusion projects, Countryside and Franklin. We did make substantive changes to this CIP compared to the FY24 plan that was approved back in June. And we are now showing, due to the rise in the number of projects in water, sewer, and stormwater, we are now showing those projects separately from the main CIP group. So when you get your main document and when you see it online, you will see the 2 groups split out into separate lists. Currently, there are 41 of the water, sewer, stormwater projects and 292 of the main group. We did add 129 projects this year. 111 of them were public buildings department, all school projects. Josh Morse did a very substantial review of all of the needs of all of our school buildings. It took him about 6 months to complete. He essentially recreated and renewed some existing projects, but then found new needs over the long term. Nothing immediate, but things that need to get done over the next 5 to 10 to 15 years. So that's 111. There are 11 new Parks, Recreation, and Culture Department projects, everything from Spears Garden to the Newton South High School tennis light replacement to Captain Ryan Park, and other sort of park projects, tennis court projects, and some eventual projects like replacing the synthetic turf at Newton South that we just eventually in the year 2034. There is a planning department project, the Christina Street Bridge, as the mayor mentioned. There's 1 new fire department project. And then there are 5 new public works department projects that are all phosphorus control, which I will get to in just a minute. I always like to show our completed projects for the year. This is, as the mayor recalled, the Newton Early Childhood Program, which at the old Horace Mann School on Watertown Street. This project has been an enormous success for the facility's leaders. It's an all-electric, our first all-electric school and net zero school. There will be many more to come. And here was the groundbreaking that some of you were able to attend back in January. As the mayor mentioned, we also have completed the Newton South track and synthetic fields replacement projects at both, we'll call it the Lions Drive, formerly known as Brandeis Road field, and the main stadium field and track. As you can see, I encourage all of you to get down there at some point and check them out. Both the principal and the athletic director are incredibly happy with the product. The teams are out there, and I think some point soon we'll be having a ribbon cutting. I don't know what you call it, but so that will be coming up soon. And the field lights are working incredibly well. This is a drone image from above the stadium that was done a number of months ago. Just shows just how dark it gets around the stadium and how directed these nice new field lights are activated. Another completed project is the Horace Mann Playground. You can see lots of happy students out there with staff on this new larger set of climbing structures and devices here. So this This playground will stay exactly as is with the addition and renovations to the existing building. We've come to substantial completion on the Wobbin Hill Covered Storage Reservoir, which is an 1891 facility. It's our source, in-city source of MWRA treated drinking water. Huge improvements to this facility, rehabbing the core to the building, and replacing valves and pipes, and cleaning and inspecting the chambers there so that we're all provided nice, clean drinking water on a reliable basis. All right, let me get to the Transportation Network Improvement Program, which starts with road paving. And here's a nice image from just yesterday on Lowell Ave. This is from Washington to Walnut of the bonded wearing course treatment above the old concrete panels on Lowell Ave. And I will show you some more images. But this is the result of a very busy 2023 road construction program. And as you can see in yellow, the many streets that are being worked on earlier this year and over the next few months. Over the last 6 years, this city has been very focused on road work, and you can see the different years. All of these maps are available on Public Works website. This year is very busy due to the investment of the ARPA funds, $4 million for the Neighborhood Road Paving Initiative. And this is set in 2 years. So there were, I think it's 51 roads here, a big bunch north of the Pike and others south of the Pike. These are smaller roads that had PCIs, pavement condition indexes, below 55, which is not great. And so we've really focused scientifically on the roads that need the most work. In addition, there are a number of other roads, some larger ones like Wheeler and Homer and Walnut and Waltham and the Carriageway and Lowell Ave and the whole Islington Peninsula that are being treated this year. Funding for the program has largely averaged about 9.5, actually a little bit over 9.5 million a year. During the pandemic, we obviously took a hit in revenues for the city, rebounded into 22 and certainly 23, and we've invested over $50 million from the general fund and Chapter 90, and then another $10.5 million in ARPA funds into the program. We expect to be back, as the mayor mentioned, probably this fall, for some large requests for free cash, use of free cash for road paving. The Pavement Condition Index is really the scientific way of analyzing the conditions of our roads. We started back at 62.5, which is not great. We've been rising slowly. We're now up to 72.6. There's still, it looks like we're getting close, but there really is a tremendous amount of work still to be done over the next 5 to 10 years to really get us up to that 80 best practice goal. Here's some other images. This is the actual paving along Lowell Ave of the bonded wearing course treatment. Here's some, Park and Sargent milling work shown here. The pavement, I think, is coming very soon. Next door on Waverly, again, milling work here at this intersection, paving to come soon. And here's an example of the Islington Road area, some paving there, so this entire peninsula will be treated. And this is one of the many neighborhood roads, Fessenden Street in West Newton. Paving is now completed on this. Jumping over to pedestrian infrastructure improvements, as I think many of you know if you've attended the PF meetings or seen the slideshows done by our consultants from EP, we've done an analysis of all the conditions of our sidewalks across the city, analyzed their conditions, and then done a priority basis based on pedestrian routes and schools and roads and conditions. So this is underway. It's a little hard to see with the text at the bottom, but we have a number of school areas targeted for over the next 5 years. starting, I think it's Williams and there's one other school there. Ward, thank you. All right. Oh, I lost my connection here. Oh, thank you. All right, related is traffic calming and curb ramps. A number of traffic calming projects are underway as we speak. Lowell Ave at Hull and Highland near Newton North. Great challenging intersection right next to the high school. The Waltham Street traffic calming at Derby and Fairway in the upper right. New curb ramp here on the carriageway, the Comm Ave carriageway at Beaumont. I happened to get a family with little kids bicycling right up that curb ramp maybe for the first time, as that is now complete. A couple other projects that are going on in DPW, the Newton Highlands Village Center project. The design is in progress. Just a shout out that there is a public meeting, number 4, coming up on October 12th, correct, Commissioner? And so please attend that if possible. And I think many of you have been involved in giving input into this very important project and design. As the mayor mentioned, Petty Square in Newton Upper Falls is going to be under construction quite soon. This project will really improve the safety of this intersection for drivers, bicyclists, and pedestrians, and really make this area fresh and more beautiful and inviting through a whole series of project upgrades. The state is also very active here in Newton on a variety of projects. I made this map today trying to figure out where all of them were, and it's actually a longer list than I had realized. Everything from the Needham Street project to Newton Highlands T Station to the commuter rail station projects, the Comm Ave carriageway path and Hammond Pond Parkway, the Newton Corner ramp and circle improvements, the Albemarle at Crafts intersection up in West Newton, Newtonville up here, Parker Street at Route 9, improvements, the Safe Routes to School project that the state is undertaking, the D-Branch accessibility projects in Waban and Elliott and over in Chestnut Hill, and also the Charles River Greenway pedestrian bridge over in Auburndale. So there are a number of projects that our staff here in the city are working closely with state officials to make sure that all of these projects really meet our needs as Newtonians. Another huge project that is underway right now is the water meter replacement program. This is the dashboard that's now live on our website, showing the progress of the project. Nearly 2,000 meters have been installed, 28,000 to go, starting in Auburndale and West Newton, and then moving across the city. It will take about 18 to 24 months to complete. Each meter replacement is only about 30 minutes in time, and we're getting pretty good response from people to set up appointments and get into their basements. The customer online portal on our website is expected to be live in this fall, which is going to help everyone track their water use. The last mayor's update had lots of details on this project, in case you did not see that. All right, the Water System Capital Improvement Project program is continuing at that $5 million per year investment in our water main rehabilitation, trying to target about 15,000 feet per year. We're going to be working on about 46 different streets over the next 6 years. One important thing that we're doing as required by the state and federal government is to complete a system-wide lead and copper inventory for submission to the EPA next year. So we'll be briefing the City Council as that moves along. As the mayor mentioned, we are now required by the federal and state government to complete a phosphorus control plan. This is the phase 1 plan that is about to be submitted to the government, Woodard and Curran, our consultants, helped complete this as a 700-page document. And on the right are some of the initial projects that we've now included in the CIP, including some underground phosphorus control storage or control facilities at the Resource Recovery Center, as well as at the Franklin and Countryside School projects, at both the Craft Street Yard and the Elliott Street Yard, as well as up at the Davis Playground as well. So we have a number of these projects that we're going to get going on in the very near future. All right, switching gears out of DPW over to other departments. The Lincoln Elliott School, as the mayor mentioned, is out to bid. Very exciting project for that school community. And here's the interior space. Many of you have been to the presentations on this project. We'll also be renovating, a complete renovation of the auditorium for both school and community use. The Countryside School, the design is in progress, and this is the latest rendering here along Dedham Street of this school project to be funded through the debt exclusion and by the MSBA. The Franklin School project is also progressing in design, looking at different layouts, different site options. A number of you are involved in this process, so this is moving along with, I think, a very productive team of residents and counselors and consultants, and a lot of input from teachers and staff. The Horace Mann School as well. We've got a great architectural team looking at the addition to the school over here, as well as renovations to the existing interior space. This is moving along quite well at this point. NewCal, as the mayor mentioned, this is back out to bid after the first initial attempt at doing this, and so we are hopeful, very hopeful, that we will be getting some bids, good bids, on this incredibly important project for our senior residents and all residents of Newton. This is going to be an amazing, amazing facility. Switching gears to Parks, Rec, and Culture, the Gath Pool and Splash Park is in construction. We have our contractor is now on site. We've had a number of very successful meetings with them, so we are looking forward to, as the mayor mentioned, to actually putting at least ceremonial shovels in the ground very shortly. And another splash park in Upper Falls at Northland. This, our understanding is that Northland is looking to build this in 2024. Councilor Banks, if you're ready to be getting ready to take the keys to 2 splash parks next year, this one for the north side, one on the south side. Parks, Rec, and Culture has also completed a capital improvements program and plan, which outlines all of their both turf field management improvements, as well as synthetic turf fields, lights, and other facilities. Many of you have been at the programs and services meetings to hear this discussion. This is the Albemarle Fields Phase North project, funded both by the CPC as well as through ARPA funds, and including the field lights and the reconfigured baseball diamonds, the pickleball courts, and the basketball court, new synthetic turf field for Newton North, and league use, and pedestrian pathways, and new irrigation system. This does not show what we're also using ARPA funds for is probably down in this area here, a second bridge across Cheesecake Brook to greatly improve pedestrian and bicycle crossings, both for school use as well as to allow parking on this side for people to get to the new gas pool and to the fields. So we're looking forward to completing that and working with the Conservation Commission very closely on that. The other two fields, the Burr School fields, this is in final design, and this is two new multi-purpose fields and a third of a mile perimeter path and irrigation and picnic tables right here behind the school and along Lexington Street. And then at McGrath Park are fields, 4 grass fields and a perimeter path, as well as fencing and trees and a new irrigation system, all funded with the great help of our CPC. And an upcoming project will be the Newton North Stadium synthetic field and track replacement. As you can see, I may have some pictures late, but this does show the new lights, where we're still finalizing that project, 3 down, one light pole still to go. So that should be done soon. But this field is in need of replacement, and that is on the slate for next year. Some other Parks Rec projects include safety resurfacing at the Newton Center Playground. If you haven't been over there, come check it out. It's nice and bouncy and soft and very accessible for everyone to come and use this amazing playground. Livingston Cove, as the mayor mentioned, this is nearing completion, and with the boardwalk, the pathways, the improved landscaping, all to improve pedestrian movement, accessibility, to improve stormwater, and to improve and protect our views and our water quality of this great resource. And as I mentioned, the Newton North field lights are nearing completion. And at Cabot Park, if you haven't been over there, come check it out. There is the new performance pavilion that was completed with the help of the college team and college professor, which is really quite a nice, compact, but very useful outdoor pavilion and stage. And as well as basketball court improvements, hoops, as well as surfacing, bocce court improvements, and tennis court improvements. And there's still a few pathway improvements to come, correct? That's about it. Thank you. So a couple other miscellaneous improvements using ARPA funds. We have made some improvements to the exterior of the Newton Center Fieldhouse, otherwise known as the Hut, which was not looking so nice and is now, if you've been over there, getting re-shingled. The worst shingles are being all replaced and then repainted. This is going to look a lot nicer. And the Chafin House over in Farlow Park in Newton Corner. If you've been over there, this beautiful building had the paint was really not looking so nice on it. And so we have used ARPA funds. We'll also be using some state earmark funds to help the pond itself at Farlow Park. And so this is not quite done, but it's in the works of being completed. Thank you to Councilor Greenberg for all of her advocacy with our state legislators on this. And I think this is my last slide. I'll end with street trees, and not directly a capital program, but really an important part of our infrastructure. Our tree infrastructure in our city is incredibly important. The CIP does show the details of our planting plan over the next 5 years, what areas of the city our city forester, Mark Welsh, plans to focus on. He and his team have recently completed a citywide inventory of all trees, and that will be the foundation for this planting plan as well as for a master plan that he is now drafting. We have also used ARPA funds, $250,000 in ARPA funds, to help his program maintain the newly planted trees. As many of you know, on Programs and Services Committee in particular, the City Forester has been working with this council to greatly strengthen the tree ordinance. So that hopefully will be wrapping up sometime very soon.